So we good? So episode 2, Higher Human. I got the coach, the fighter, the athlete, Tim Welch, on the show. Appreciate it, man.
Dude, hell yeah. Pumped. I was pumped when you asked me.
I mean, I told you before we started that really you guys, your whole squad, your team is the motivation for this. So being around you guys really made me want to do this and start this. So I owe you a huge thanks for that, man.
Dude, hell yeah. Well, especially both Sugar and I've been wanting to do a podcast for the longest time. And my friends who I see and I feel like they could have potential doing it, I want to try to help them as much as possible. And you have like so much knowledge you could spread to so many people that I'm like, fuck, you got to do it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun project. It's really cool to be able to connect with people at this level because this format gives you the opportunity to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like IG. It's not like really any other format, which I think can really help people.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it's like, gosh, why not do it? Especially you're an expert in human performance, you know. There's just so much knowledge that you can't get across in one Instagram post. But having your own podcast, people are going to love it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You know, I get a lot of people interacting with me through the different channels that I know come from you guys, come from, really you and Sean. I get a lot of messages, people thanking me for what, what I do and what I can bring people and provide to people. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So it's cool.
Hell yeah. Well, I tell Sean all the time too. I'm like, dude, there is not many even 40-year-olds and 45-year-olds or guys in their 40s, late 30s that I want to be like at all. But you're one of them, and you're one of the guys like we both love learning from.
Yeah.
And that you really like live it, and you don't just talk about it and preach it, and then you don't live it. You know, you live it too. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Well, let's we just chatted about it a little bit. I know you just competed in a jiu-jitsu competition. I think let's talk about that because you mentioned how it facilitated growth and getting into that mindset, the weight cut, the diet, all of that. I mean, run me through that. What was that like? Because you said it'd been a little bit since you'd competed. So to get back out there and compete at really the highest level in jiu-jitsu had to have been exciting, fun, scary. I don't know. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, especially balancing the like trying to stay prepared for the podcast, my gym, my students, trying to run my business there. And then having to be so selfish with my training, with my diet, you know. So it was a little bit hard to balance. And then as soon as I sign up for a tournament, I know how selfish it's going to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't been competing a bit. I've just been trying to focus on the students, focus on the podcast, focus on helping Sean. But I'm like, why not? My body feels healthy. I train with like some of the best guys in the world consistently, and I'm doing really well with them. And Taquino, my professor, is like, hey, yeah, you might as well do Pan Ams. You got a good style for it. And so I signed up for the Pan Ams tournament, and I could have done the Masters division where they're 5-minute rounds, and that's 30 years or older. But I was like, fuck that, man. I'm healthy. I feel good. The adult matches are 10-minute rounds. So I signed up for it and prepared for 6 weeks for it and dieted. And it's different dieting and knowing you're not going to get paid for it.
Right.
Like fighting, it's like, okay, I know I signed this contract. If I make weight on this date, I'm going to get this amount of money for sure. But I was like, just testing myself, flying to Atlanta by myself, doing the weight cut by myself, doing my IBJJF debut by myself. I'm like, fuck, I learned a lot from that. And I learned a lot that I can give back to my students too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is what does that experience bring to you as a coach? It's got to be a lot, right? Like learning to put yourself in that environment, to put yourself in that mindset. I'm sure you come back as a coach with your gym, with Sean, it helps you. Like how would you break that down?
I think the biggest thing, especially about fighting and competing in jiu-jitsu, is just so much of a mental battle leading up to the fight or the tournament. The emotions the day of, your mood when you're cutting weight, so much of like, it's such a mental battle. Yeah. And that's where I think if you've never competed in jiu-jitsu or if you've never fought, it's hard to coach someone at that level or coach someone like, hey, talk about their emotions going into a fight, talking about their breathing, talking about how to counter those negative thoughts in your head right before you're going on the mat or about to get in a fist fight. So I think that's where it really helps me as a coach, going through it and then just being able to give it back.
And so how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? You've been doing it for a while. What got you into jiu-jitsu? You wrestled growing up. I don't really know that history. I don't know that story.
Yeah. Well, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness until like 9th grade in high school. So I was never able to play any sports, never able to do anything because we couldn't hang out with worldly people. My parents got divorced. I decided to live with my dad, and he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness anymore. So I got into football. And I remember he had a bunch of VHSs watching the UFC, and I'd watch the UFC. I'd be like, "Wow, man, that's badass." So I got into wrestling, and then I started doing like boxing fights too. So I had like, I think 16 boxing fights in high school. And then I was wrestling through high school. And the day I turned 18 is when I had my first MMA fight. So I think about 17 is when I started jiu-jitsu, and then started fighting all the way from moved to Oregon, moved down here to AZ for the past 10 years. I've been training a lot of MMA, but the last 5 years, mostly strict jiu-jitsu.
And how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu with Tank?
With Taquinho, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 6 years with him now.
Okay. Yeah. And your black belt is under him, right?
Yes, I got my black belt under Taquinho. Well, I was at the lab, and I'm like, dude, this little fucking tiny guy is beating up everyone in this room. And I didn't really understand it. So I was like, I want to learn from him. So I asked him, hey, can I be a part of your program? And as a purple belt, I was a purple belt, and I started going over to his gym, and he put me through the basic white belt, the whole program, Mount Escape 1, and all the stuff you do as a white belt. And I was just doing it kind of over there by myself and just kind of stuck with it. I saw how passionate those Brazilians were about jiu-jitsu, and they talked about jiu-jitsu, and they talked about when you're at practice with all those Brazilians, that's what they're talking about, jiu-jitsu. It's not just some hanging around, goofing around. They're fucking serious about it, and I was really attracted to that. And yeah, I'm lucky to have Taquinho as a professor.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, and it seems my interaction with him, he seems very systematic, very unique in that sense. And I love you guys together because to me, from my perspective, you're more, amazing coach, but more fluid, if that's the right word, I think. And Taquinho seems very, just how he is as a person. I think it's a great combination, you guys together. Right?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, God, I wonder what Taquinho fucking thinks of me being all crazy and shit. But he likes me. Like, I'm one of his good students, and we're really good friends too. And yeah, it is a pretty funny mix, though.
I love the fights, being there with you guys, and being around Taquinho is really fun because he's so laid back. Just him and I together, it's we might be in that room for 2-3 days, and we say, like, there's a lot of times a day will go past and we don't even say anything to each other, right? Because he's so chill and I'm pretty chill. But I really enjoy those experiences, being around you and him, and obviously Sean. It's a fun time.
Yeah, we were always wondering about, I'm like, gosh, I wonder what they're talking about in that room and stuff. But both you guys are super fucking laid back, so it don't matter.
Taquinho, we get in the room and he literally takes off his clothes, like sits down, lays down. And he's just, he's so chill. So I'm good with it.
Hell yeah, that's badass. It's definitely an art being by yourself and learning to be by yourself and enjoying being by yourself. And I'm super thankful for that too. And are you pretty good about that?
Yeah, I've learned to. I don't think you can be happy with other people until you're okay with yourself. And I think a lot of people run from that. They distract themselves with whatever, with things to do, because they're not okay being by themselves. So I think that's something everybody needs to be okay with, is if you can be quiet by yourself, reflect on whatever, that's important to do, to be able to do that and give yourself that space.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's huge for development.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've, like, did you realize that at some point in your life? Did you intentionally go towards growth to become a better man, a better person? Or was it something that just kind of, how did you, because I respect how much you embrace growth. And I know Sean credits you for a lot of that development. Like, you guys together have encouraged each other. But is that something that you just, like, what got you there?
Man, I think what really, I've always was like so obsessed with fighting. Like, I'm going to make the UFC so obsessed with it, and like almost like a bad obsessed with it. I wanted it so bad. And then after my Ultimate Fighter fight, Dana told me after that fight, he said, win 2 more fights and I'll bring you back to the UFC. I'm like, okay, great. Won 2 more fights, didn't get the offer to the UFC. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to take another fight, get a quick payday, and then he'll take me back. So I was fighting this guy who's like 8-5 or 8-4 from Canada, big, pretty good striker, but I'm like, I'm going to run through this guy. Went up there to Montana, expecting it to be a great weekend. I was a best man. I was supposed to be the best man in my best friend's wedding the day after, picturing this great weekend. And I go up there, first punch of the fight, bing, he turned my head sideways, and it broke my jaw.
Yeah.
And I'm facing this guy, and I'm like, fuck, is there something wrong? I can't shut my mouth, and something really hurts. So I was like, I got to try to finish him. So I tried to finish him, couldn't finish him. That fight ended, and I just had my jaw hanging. We went to the ER, and they said the surgeon's not in town, and it's Friday night. They said he won't be in town till Monday. So I'm like, I can't go home like this. My fucking jaw's hanging off. He's like, sorry, well, I don't know what you want me to do. We can keep you here till Monday. I was like, fuck. So I went back to the hotel. We drove to another city. Monday, got in. My jaw was already starting to grow back together, so they had to break it up.
Oh man.
Do a pretty major surgery, and he's like, fuck, that doctor should have never sent you home. So that was a pretty rough 3 days. And then I was just like heartbroken. I was like, fuck, dude. I just broke my fucking face, and now I'm coming off a loss, and I was just like super, super sad. But I was like, there's only 2 options. I can just mope about it, or I can just try to make best of it. So I really started to read those Tools of Titans and Tim Ferriss, and that's when I really started to get into Tim Ferriss, and then really started getting into Stoicism and stuff and researching it. I'm like, holy shit. And once I started doing all that stuff, I realized there's just so much more than just this little bubble of fighting that I've been living in for all these years. And there's just so many more areas to grow. And after that, me breaking my jaw and going through all that and not being able to eat for like 2 months and just having my jaw wired and having to sit in a house by myself because Mariah would be gone, and I'd just be in my house by myself, jaw wired shut, reading some Tim Ferriss or watching YouTube videos about Stoicism. And that's when I really started to kind of get on that growth path. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
And seeing that, and then I was like, fuck, Sean, you got to check out Stoicism, dude. Trust me, you got to check it out. And then I started meditating, and I really started preaching that to Sugar. I'm like, dude, you got to start meditating. There's like some serious power in this. All these powerful people are talking about how much it's benefited them. Then he started meditating. And then once we started just really learning about meditation and Stoicism, it kind of just changed my whole life altogether.
Yeah. And
then slowly fed into like Sugar started having a lot of success, and he was just fighting because I was still healing up. And then Taquino asked me to teach one of his affiliate programs at a boxing club, and I was a brown belt. That club ended up shutting down. So then I had the opportunity to open my own place, and all these other doors started to open up. And that's kind of how it went.
So did you see yourself as a coach, or did it just the opportunity presented itself? Because because being around you, I've told you this, like, you are a world-class coach. And I love how you interact with Sean, just understanding. I think what makes a good coach is understanding. It's an energy thing, understanding your athletes, knowing what to say, when to say it. Like, you have that. Is that something that you saw happening, or it just kind of happened and you are what you are now? You know, you have a gym, and obviously working with Sean. Like, did it just happen?
Yeah. Well, Mariah and I always had the plan. We're like, for sure, I'm going to open a gym. Like, after fighting, for sure, that's what I'm going to do. Because I do enjoy teaching, and I do enjoy helping other people out. But I didn't think it would happen when I'm 29 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to happen. And then slowly just started moving into that coaching role for Sean. And I give all the credit, because I've been surrounded by such fucking good coaches my whole life. My wrestling coach in high school was such a good coach. Right after that, I had a coach named Matthew Powers in Missoula. But then I started working with Robert Follis in Portland, Oregon, who's one of the best coaches out there. A lot of people say that. Then started seeing John Crouch and how good of a leader he was, and how good he was at leading a whole group and keeping a group motivated. And then I got to go on the Bellator Fight Master show where Greg Jackson was the coach, and he was our coach for 6 weeks. And I got to see how he would interact with that athletes and coach. And then I got to be under Taquino for those 6 years and see how he coaches and interacts, and seeing a real master of the sport teach it. So just learning from all those guys, plus reading about the stoicism. And I've always been really not obsessed, but I've really been into sports psychology a lot the past probably 6-7 years. And all that combination, it's just a combination of learning from all those guys and giving it back.
Yeah, for sure, man. Do you see yourself continuing to coach? Will you pick up, new athletes? I'm assuming that there are a lot of UFC hopefuls that reach out to you, right? Young fighters that want to be led, that want to be coached. Do you see yourself going that direction? Do you see yourself fighting again?
Yeah.
Like what direction do you see yourself going?
Yeah, I've battled with that quite a bit. What I don't really want to teach an MMA team, though. I don't want to have an MMA team and be the head of it.
Right.
I wouldn't mind helping a few guys here and there. And I definitely want to make Sugar a world champ. I want to get him to a world championship level, make him the best fighter possible. Yeah. But I really, really enjoy jiu-jitsu. I enjoy that any athlete can do it. You don't have to be a full-time MMA fighter to do it. The thing I don't like about MMA is exactly what happened in Sean's last fight, and it just I don't know if it bugs me. I guess I can't really find the word to it, but for sure Sean did everything he could do in that fight. He was probably the better fighter that night, and he lost. He failed. It's this bad thing. Same thing with my jaw. I lost and I failed, and I prepared so well. Like, MMA is such a flip of the coin sometimes. It's not about what you put into it. Right. Because you could not train at all and go against someone who's training their ass off, doing everything right, boom, and smack them, and you win. But jiu-jitsu, I feel like, is not like that. You get what you put into it. Yeah. You're not going to get lucky and go submit some black belt. Right. Or you're not going to go get lucky and win some blue belt tournament. You got to have the skills, and you get what you put into it. And I think in MMA too, a lot of younger kids, I think they do it for the wrong reason. I don't think they do it because they truly love MMA and they're truly obsessed with it. And just being around different teams for the past 10 years, I'm like, man, I don't really want to be an MMA coach. But I have had handfuls of even UFC guys come up to me and ask me, but I'm like, I want to focus on my jiu-jitsu students, focus on improving my jiu-jitsu, make Sugar a world champ, and then just keep enjoying life and being healthy. Because I truly feel like I could come back, win a fight, maybe get a UFC fight, but that's a lot of time that I'm taking away. I'm taking away from my gym. I'm being selfish for myself now. I'm going back in this pool of killers. I got to get a lot of brain damage. I got to get a lot of injuries, and I'm like, kind of for what? Right. To win a fight, get a couple checks, just kind of boost my ego more. I'm like, I know how tough I am. I know I've sparred with the best people in the world. I've fought some really good people. I know how tough I am. So it's not like I want to do it to get more of an ego boost. And I think that's why a lot of people do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic for sure. And I agree. It's probably from the fan side, right? It's why so many people love it is because of that flip of the coin that on any given night, anything can happen. And that's what makes someone like John Jones, right? Some of these fighters that have stayed at the top, how impressive is that? Yeah, because it's a sport that if you're there, they're all tough. You're all tough. Yeah. And anything could happen. So it's amazing that somebody can stay on top for that long, right?
Habib.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. And I think that's for the why the sport has grown so much is that on any given night, who knows what can happen. Even some of these cards that they don't have some of the most popular fighters. They're still great fights because who knows, right? So, well, you're one hell of a coach. It's fun to watch you and Sean's relationship and just to observe that, and you guys have something special. So just to be a part of that has been fun.
Hell yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, man, fuck, I should still fight. The only reason I would want to fight is because I still feel like never I've been my best self in the cage. I've gotten to show my actual real skills in the cage. So that's one reason maybe if I did come back, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd like to get another fight. But I'm like, I feel like Sugar has so much potential that if I can just focus on him and he can have a coach that focuses on him and they're there whenever he needs it, whenever he needs a grappling practice, whenever he needs mitts, whenever he needs an MMA session, whenever he needs he could be such a fucking like superstar. And I guess I'd rather chip into that a little bit than win a couple fights in the UFC, beat myself up more. Plus I those last 3 years I was in fighting, a week before the Ultimate Fighter, I punched this kid, tore my bicep. Or no, Taquino submitted me, tore this bicep. And then 2 years later, I hit this kid in sparring and I tore this bicep all the way up. And those were pretty intense injuries. And then I broke my jaw. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. So, but a big thing in those injuries, too, is I got more growth in those injuries than I did without them. I was forced to work on different areas and I was forced to start reading, and that really helped change my fucking life change my relationships. And just really made me realize how to enjoy life.
Right. Well, it's cliche, but it's so true that you don't grow when you're comfortable, right? You grow when you struggle. And my thing is you have to open the door and go through it, right? Growth will happen with effort. It's not going to happen without effort. And it's up to us to say, I'm going to open that door and run through it. And a lot of people would choose the opposite. A lot of people would choose when they're confronted with struggle to back off. But I think people need to understand that. It's like you don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when you're uncomfortable, but you have to make the decision that I'm going to attack that head on.
It's a hard decision, isn't it? Because and I feel like the biggest reason it's such a hard decision is caring what other people think.
Yeah, ego.
Yeah.
Ego, fear. That's huge. Like if you can just drop it's okay to have it. We all have ego, right? Mm-hmm. But it's to accept what we're afraid of and be okay with it and move through it. I think that's the big thing. It's not being, if you need to get better at something, which we all do. Yeah, I do. Not, no, I'm good, right? Like that's the attitude you don't want to have. And that's hard for people because of our conditioning, how we're brought up. There's a lot there. Have you always been that way? Or do you feel like you broke your jaw, that was like that opened the door? When you were younger, could you accept what you weren't good at and want to work to grow?
Yeah, it was weird when I was young. Obviously, everyone's so insecure in high school, but I was so insecure, but I just wanted to be tough. Like I wasn't the best wrestler. I remember in my high school, you could sign up, go to different high schools and box kids from that high school in those weight classes. Yeah. So I'd sign up for all those, and I'd always begin trying to get a group of my friends to do it with me. So I was always just a scrappy kid, but I didn't really know like a growth mindset until I was in my 20s, I guess. I didn't really learn how to work hard and learn how to improve and kind of see what I need to do to get better until I was in my mid 20s probably.
It's so good. I think a lot of people never get there, right? Which is sad. A lot of people will never accept the opportunity to grow, which I hate to see. It took me. I don't think I fully embraced it until I was a little bit older, probably in my 30s, to be honest. I mean, I don't know when I really realized that, but it probably was a little bit later.
Was it like a book for you, or was it or what was a turning point for you?
So as a trainer, as a coach, when I started to accept there was a lot that I didn't know and make a conscious effort to go learn more was when I turned the corner. And I think there was a period where I just felt like I had it. And I think that's pretty common for like that natural progression is in your 20s, you think you know it all. And then you get to a point where you're like, man, this is way more complicated than I thought. Right. And then at some point you realize it's even more complicated than you thought. Yeah. And the pursuit of growing just becomes an addiction. So for me, it's always been I genuinely want to help people. I genuinely want to make a difference in people's lives. And the vehicle that I have is training, is fitness, is mindset. So I don't know. I don't know if it was a given moment, but I now realize that like every day is an opportunity to get better at something, and that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
And I think about the opportunity to work with Sean, like giving that opportunity. I want to do everything I can to be able to help him, to be able to help the team. And that's how it is with the clients and athletes that I work with. Like I feel like that's kind of my purpose, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. I don't, I think everybody should embrace that mindset, but most people don't. And I don't really know why.
Yeah. I think we're just so lucky that we found something that we're so passionate about.
Right.
Like we have something, like I think about jiu-jitsu so much. And just like you said, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So like, oh, you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know everything. It's like, dude, these guys came in here into the gym. I think it was Friday, these world champs. They made me feel like I was fucking a white belt again. I'm like, there's such a fucking high level to jiu-jitsu. And it's like you have the power to make yourself so you can get stronger, you can get more flexible, and then you can improve your jiu-jitsu and try to go with the best guys and learn from better guys. It's just unlimited. It's unlimited to how good you can get at jiu-jitsu, and I'm fucking obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. And then I get to teach it back to my students, reteach it from the ground up to see how good I can make these kids, and I get to make money doing it. I'm like, fuck, dude, I feel super fucking lucky, which that's where I think most people don't have something like that.
Right.
That you can really grow in and improve and become a master in and then make money doing. It's like, that's where I feel super fucking lucky.
Yeah, with jiu-jitsu, being around you guys, and I've done it a little bit, but there's so much complexity to it. And you see how, I think people need it. I think we need physicality in our lives. I think we need challenges because, again, if you're comfortable, you don't grow. I think it's something that all humans need, and jiu-jitsu is a really good opportunity for it because it's safe, it's safer. There's community, there's connection, there's physical connection that I do think we need as humans that a lot of people don't get. So there's all of these little pieces of it that I think make for I don't want to say the perfect storm, but it just works. That people don't get in the gym. Like there's aspects of the gym and training which are really good if people look at it that way, because it's not just about how you look. It shouldn't be. It's a piece, but it should be a really small piece. And I think a lot of people, the gym is just purely an aesthetic thing, which is empty, right? At some point, like where does that get you? But being healthy, being physically fit, overcoming challenges, accepting the hard, I think is great. But you don't get that physical connection, that personal connection, and those really layers of complexity that I can see in jiu-jitsu, which I think people need. I think it's a beautiful thing. And if you don't have it, I think people will be sad. Like they need, if you're in an office 40 hours a week, even if you're making good money, like there's those aspects that we need as humans that I think jiu-jitsu provides. Like, do you feel that way? Like,
oh, for sure, dude, for sure. Like I said, figuring out ways to make yourself really fucking uncomfortable and having some guy strangle you. You're in a bad position and you got to sit there and try to think ahead and try to figure out a way out of it and maybe get tapped out, which is fine. Boom, boom. You submit and you lose.
There's a lot of love in this sport, which is really cool, right? It's this physical thing, but at the same time, being around it, you see, I mean, all of the experiences that I've had with jiu-jitsu always are, it's like this physicality. There's a little bit of this alpha type energy, but then it's always followed by love.
Yeah.
And that depends on the person. But I've never been around somebody that does jiu-jitsu that, I'm sure they exist, but like he's an asshole that wants to just dominate you. It's like, I maybe want to dominate you, but then I'm going to, give you a high five and a hug, and right. Which is really cool too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I really like about jiu-jitsu is there's no really, you can't really be a fraud in jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You can't really fake it and say you're this and say you're that. It's like you gotta prove it every day. And yeah, just like you said, usually the toughest guys, even in MMA, the toughest guys I've met in MMA, the toughest guys I've met in jiu-jitsu are so nice.
Yeah.
Because they've probably gotten beat up their whole life too, and they're like, "Fuck, might as well just be nice to everyone."
Yeah, it's a martial art. Right?
Yeah.
It's an art, which is really cool. Do you feel so this theory of like the physical touch? Do you feel like that's a piece of it that when you are rolling with somebody, man, whatever it is, that there's an aspect of it that's potentially touch based? That sounds weird, but I think
Yeah.
my thing is I think we need that as humans, and we get that with our partners, our spouses. But I do feel like there's something there. Would you agree?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
dude.
Like when
For
you're
sure.
rolling with somebody, there's something there.
Yeah, for sure. It's well, especially because we're lucky we have girls, but some people don't.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that connection at all, that physical connection, and that's why I love seeing some white belts. Their first day, their eyes are just lit up. They're like, "Whoa, this is the coolest fucking thing ever." But yeah, I definitely think there's something there.
Hard as shit, but at the same time, like, have you ever had a student that the first day is like they don't get that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've had students show up, and I kind of can I see with someone I want to see if they're humble. Some guys I can tell that aren't humble, and I'm like, man, they've never been like probably roughed up, so I rough them up.
Yeah.
And then I've been around guys that really don't like that, and they leave and they don't come back. But other guys, they're like, oh man, that was awesome. I want to learn, and you teach me. And I make sure not to be an asshole about it, unless they're really spazzes.
Yeah.
But giving that people that lesson, because I think a lot of people have never felt what a man can do to you.
Right.
They have this false sense of security. There's this false sense of, if I get pissed off, if I get use all my strength, I'm going to be able to do this. And then they get treated like a child by someone as small as JX, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Well, I was coming to your spot for a bit. I loved it. I just need to make time. But the first time I went to another gym, I got submitted like multiple times by a girl that probably weighed 100 pounds. And that was when I'm like, okay, this is
Real deal.
This is the real deal. Like I'm I'm decently
Strong
athletic guy,
motherfucker,
strong
yeah.
guy. And I think it's a beautiful art in that respect.
Hell yeah.
Right. So it's and it's accessible for people, which I think is important as well. Right. I mean, pretty much anybody can do it.
That's what impresses me about like your profession and stuff. How, because from the outside, if you don't really know about strength and movement and all that stuff, you'd be like, you'd feel like there's a certain point where you know everything. But all the new, like, there's still so much growing in it. Obviously, even for you, like, who's the highest level strength and movement coach that you look up to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it depends on the pieces, right? There are these individual pieces that I think you could go take breathing. Like you could study that for the rest of your life, and you would just be, I think, scratching the surface. There's so much there.
And that's pretty new, isn't it? It seems.
I mean, kind of. I mean, obviously you have yoga, you have mindfulness, you have meditation. You're starting to see breathing and how it impacts our ability to move. That is becoming a little bit more mainstream, but you're still not going to see that typically. Like if you went into a gym and hired a coach, there's a good chance that they're not going to have that perspective. I think it's a really important perspective to have. Mm-hmm. Doing this as long as I've done it, I think it makes the most sense that how we breathe influences our posture influences how we breathe, and there's a lot of really important stuff there. But hopefully in 2 years, in 5 years, I'll have a new perspective. Like I think that's the key, right? Is that not just don't be satisfied with where you are. It's again growth. I want to continue to break that down. Like I look at my life, I'm continuing to break down and understand like physiology, just the hormonal responses, the biochemical responses that happen. I want to continue. I want to be a black belt there. Breathing and understanding breathing from more of a meditative standpoint. That's an aspect. Breathing, how it influences how we move. That's an aspect. periodization. So like how to organize a plan in a way that generates the outcome that you want. That's really important for fighters, right? It's a really dynamic thing. And I think an elite coach in my world understands all those things. You're not just good at periodization, but that's a huge piece. So it's exciting. I mean, Paul Chak, who I know you guys you're fans of and friends with. It's funny. I was telling Sean this. I remember being a new coach. Like I just graduated college. How old is Paul? Paul is he 60?
I think
He's in his 50s for sure.
57, I think.
The dude's a freak, super smart. And one of the first courses,
He's 50.
50.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking. I mean, he's done so much. He's only 10 years older than me. One of the first online courses I did was his course.
Oh, really?
Back in,
I remember you told me that
college in
actually.
2003.
And did you just buy one of his courses?
I had DVD. I don't remember. I probably have it. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was like a functional training.
Oh,
type,
okay.
Yeah, right. Like type of a course. And a coach, that trainer that I worked with, it's like, you got to check this guy out. And I'm watching his YouTube videos, and he was early on in that. Probably one of, I'd say, pioneers when functional training became a thing. I guess, it's like, what does that even mean? More real life movements, not just your typical sagittal, bilateral, push pull like in the gym. But he's definitely somebody that I look up to. He'd be a cool guest to connect.
Oh, he'd love
guy.
it.
I'd love
he
to.
Would do that.
I love how he blends really a holistic approach towards training. Because I don't think you think of, like, when you think of Paul, you don't think of a trainer necessarily, right? I think of him as like a lifestyle coach, somebody that understands a lot of the pieces, right?
Yeah. Well, that's because that was the first program. Well, I'm trying to think how I even fucking heard of him. I started reading his book though, and then he saw me talking about it on a YouTube page, where one of his students saw me and then sent it to Paul, and then Paul emailed me and said, "Hey, I'd love to meet you guys and have you come out." And then he sent me his free program, Holistic Lifestyle Coaching 1.
Yeah.
And I did that program, and I was like, fuck, I learned so much from that program. Mariah and I did it together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was pretty sweet. But I'm definitely link you guys up.
That'd be cool.
Email both of you. He'd probably have you on his podcast too.
Go stack some rocks with him, man.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What are things that you look at? So outside of Tim Ferriss's stuff and reading the Stoicism and understanding that, what are other things that you felt like were influential in who you are now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably just like even recently, I think 2 years ago is when I read that Anthony DeMello Awareness book.
Yeah. That is a great book.
His book kind of opened my eyes to a lot of shit too, and a lot of shit that I do that I'm like, damn, I didn't even know I do that, and I do that because my dad does it, and I do so much stuff that I was conditioned to do from an early age. His book, probably. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I've just gotten so much growth out of fucking training hard with the Kino, getting invited to the competition training, forcing myself to do these 10-minute rounds and pushing yourself with these really, really good guys and learning to focus at that level for that long and that intensive periods. I don't know. When I push myself like that throughout the week, it makes me be able to relax and really enjoy all the little things and just be at home and just enjoy sitting there and being healthy and just enjoying drinking some water and enjoying my dogs and enjoying like Mariah and look around and all the shit I'm super fucking thankful for.
The pendulum swings, right? When you're exposed to that kind of hard struggle, whatever, you appreciate the down moments. And I think Sean and I talked about that, but somebody that's always comfortable doesn't have an appreciation for their comforts. I think that's important, right? It's like when you do cold, you appreciate the warm shower. When you push yourself in a diet, you appreciate the good food, right? We need that pendulum, right? So here's a question. Okay, your hardest round, your 10-minute round with these killers, what goes on in your head? When do you consciously acknowledge those points where it's hard as shit and you're like, you go towards it? Are there moments when you would quit, but like you won't? Like what? Walk me through your head, because that's fascinating, right?
Well, especially at the black belt level in jiu-jitsu, that's what you have to condition your body and your mind to do, is to stay focused on the techniques for however long you're going.
Right.
You have to stay focused on every detail, on where you're putting your right arm, where you're putting your left arm, where you're putting your right foot, controlling your breathing, and then kind of keep in the back of your head how much time is there. And then you got to keep in the back of your head if they have points, or if you have points, or the advantages they have or you have. So at the black belt level, it's a lot of just focusing on my jiu-jitsu and focusing on my techniques. When you're coming up as a blue belt, a white belt, for me, it was a lot of growth in purple belt too. It was thinking about the time. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm tired. Holy shit, I kind of want to give up here, but I got to keep fighting. But the more I've just gotten comfortable in those uncomfortable situations, the more I've been able to stay calm and control my breathing. And the more I've learned about breathing is the more I've been able to just focus.
Yeah.
I got to focus on my jiu-jitsu. And just like that tournament at the Pan Ams, I said, if I let go of my focus one bit, that's where I'm going to lose the match.
Is it an unconscious focus? Like, is it a flow? Do you feel like you're in a flow state and all that it's just all happening because you've conditioned yourself to do it? Or are you very conscious of all those things at once? Like, it's like all happening at once. You know it's happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that...
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely think like the meditation and learning how to stay focused and learning how to stay present and feel gravity on my body and feel, I definitely think it's a practice, a definite practice, and just being there a lot, being there over and over and over and over and over and over and over for the past years, you know, and just getting comfortable there. But mental talk when you're in a fight or in jiu-jitsu is huge. Jiu-jitsu a little less, but a fight quite a bit, because there's a lot more fear that's going on in a fight, because one split second you could be unconscious, or someone can kick you in your body, and then you feel your liver seize up a little bit, and you feel your insides, just everything tighten up, and you know everything's not right in there. But you got to keep your focus, your face ice cold, because you can't show your opponent that. A fight is a lot harder because of all those aspects.
Yeah. I don't think the average person can have an understanding of it. I really don't. Like, being there, cage side, has given me a perspective that I'm so grateful for, but I also know that I still don't know. Right. Being there, I can sense it. It's a wild feeling that is so, you've done it. And for people that haven't, I don't think they understand. I don't think they fully probably can respect what that's like. I can smell it. I can taste it being that close, but I'm humble enough to know that it wouldn't have been my thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think most people have it in them. But it's fascinating. It's
Dude,
I really
it
can't
gets your
imagine.
emotions going, doesn't it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Those moments that we had, even like with the Eddie Wineland fight, because that was your first fight in the corner.
Well, the one prior to that, the
El Taco.
Quiones, right?
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Oh, that was
And
sick.
then
I
Wineland,
love turning around seeing you like, let's fucking go, dude. Those are some sweet moments.
Yeah. Well, Suga's so... he's ice cold, right? That'd probably be interesting to talk about, like how he's progressed. But seeing him in those moments, and like leading up to the fight, like his mindset, I'm sure there are moments of being afraid and all of these things, but you deal with them, right? You just, you embrace them, I imagine. How has that? Have you seen his maturation, his his growth and that where he is now versus where he was earlier in his career? He's probably always
Oh,
had
for
it.
sure. Well, when we were, I think he was 18 or 19 years old is when he was just a young buck. He didn't know anything about sports psychology. He's just a competitor, would go in there and fight. But we started going to the coffee shops, and I'd give him books like The Mind Gym or give him these sports psychology books. And then he got obsessed with them. He was like, holy fuck. And he'd start reading them every time we go there, underlining stuff. He got obsessed with them. And I think those at that young age, 19, 20 years old, had a big effect on him. He's like, okay, now I know what mentality I need to bring into the gym. Now I know what mentality I need to bring it into when I'm competing. And knowing, like, if a negative thought comes in, that's okay.
Right.
Just let's counter it with a positive and just get back to where we're at now.
Right.
But it's definitely a practice because those negative and scared emotions can take over, especially leading up to a fight. The days leading up to a fight, and especially with Sugar, like a fight at that, like, that level, that many eyes, that many people wanting you to fail. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. But focusing on what you can control and focusing on what you can't at that level is a fucking superpower.
Yeah.
But that's why meditation, and it always comes down to your hard training and how confident you are, because the number one thing out of anything I think in fighting is how confident the guy is.
Yeah.
You know, and you obviously get that confidence from your training. But he's been a stud, but I have seen him grow a lot mentally. It's pretty cool to see. But also alongside of him, I've been growing with him, you know. We kind of both fed off each other. He sends me, he's like, dude, watch this fucking video. And I send him a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit I've learned from him too.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that, looking back, I think that'll always be the most beautiful aspect of it, is the experiences and the growth that you guys have had together. I think it's really cool. It's really unique, the relationship you guys have. It's cool to be a part of and see, you know. So come back a little bit. We'll talk about meditation. What have been because I know this is a lot of people when they start. So from my perspective, one of the biggest jumps that I made was when I realized it wasn't about quieting my mind. It was about accepting, acknowledging my distractions, not judging myself, and just coming back to my breath, right? The breath being an anchor to coming back and getting myself inward, right? I spent years meditating where I was chasing this quiet mind. And at some point I must have read something, and this was probably, I was probably, I don't know, late 20s, that I read something, I heard something where I was like, God, that makes sense. It's not about not being distracted. It's about acknowledging your distractions, seeing them, accepting them, and then coming back. I think that's the key to meditation. If people would just do that, make that jump, see their distraction and come back, then I think you can, that's huge. What have been moments for you in your practice that have helped you, or advice you would give to somebody that's starting out meditating or being mindful?
Dude, you said exactly. That's what it is. Finding those apps definitely helped me a lot. Just learning the different ones too. Like, I did Headspace for a while, and then I did the Waking Up app for a while, and then I did some different Deepak Chopra's for a while. And a lot of them teach us similar things, but it's just different wording. But you said exactly right. Not getting frustrated when a thought comes in. Just let that thought come in and slowly get back to your breath. Get back to all the, like, if there's any noises, get back to just sitting there, being conscious. And, but still, it's like I've been meditating now for a couple years, and it's like, fuck, dude. It's crazy when I don't eat the right things the day before, and I eat a lot of shitty food, and I had maybe way too much stimulation the day before, and I try to meditate. It's like, man, a thought comes, okay, and I get back to my breath, and then another thought comes, and I'm back to my breathing, and another thought comes, I'm like, fuck. It's just so, I don't know, meditation's a fucking crazy thing, dude, and I'm super, super thankful that I've learned it, though.
Yeah.
I've learned to meditate and just be where I'm at, because 20 to 25, 26 before I started meditating, I'm like, dude, my thoughts are just all over the place. I don't think I was just truly fucking just grateful for what I have and grateful for what I have around me and just all the little things too.
Yeah, it's amazing how simple it is, yet how complex and how hard it can be, but how, if you can just stick with it, how big the rewards are. And I always tell people that there is you could go down that rabbit hole, and there's some really cool things that people can do with meditation and places that you can go, and right, like metaphysical type stuff, like where you can release DMT naturally. And I think there's just that I haven't even tapped into, but at a bare minimum, just giving yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes of peace is so important, that I think the majority of people just embracing that's it. Like they don't need to meditate for an hour a day. They just 5 minutes, 10 minutes of slowing down, giving themselves that space is so powerful. And in the world we live in right now, it's only going to become more important, because we're constantly being stimulated with our phones, with our devices, right? And that's not going to go away. And that stuff is great. Look, here we are, we're having this conversation because of technology. But it's going to become more and more important that people develop that skill, I think.
For sure.
Because otherwise you go crazy.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I feel too about marijuana. I'm like, dude, it's a little, you can get to the spot marijuana brings you to with your meditation. You can, but the marijuana, you go, hold that baby in, breathe it out, and you're like, oh man, everything's all gravy. I fucking love that person so much. Man, I feel good. Life is really good. And you're just right present there, enjoying the things around you, just being right there. That's why I feel like marijuana is a little bit of hack. But if you just do it all the time so much and you're living high and you're high all the fucking time, I don't feel like you get those benefits, and you can't notice those benefits compared to if you just monitor it a little bit and don't abuse it.
Yeah, I think the work is the what is the, I'm trying to think of this, the famous saying, but it's like the journey. It's like life is all about the journey. It is, right? Like doing the work yourself and putting in that time there's a lot of value there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hacking it from time to time. But like you said, if you're always hacking it, you're always looking for the shortcut, you're missing out on that opportunity to grow, right? It'd be like in jiu-jitsu, if you could, I don't know, you plug yourself into a VR and you learn it, and all of a sudden you're a black belt. That'd be cool. But why would you're missing out on all that mat time, on all those lessons, on all those like
injuries and everything.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
that's
for
what
sure.
It's about.
For sure. And yeah, and especially getting your belts in jiu-jitsu, it's like, man, I earned this. All those fucking nights I came in, that's exactly it, for sure. What kind of like hacks do you use for do you monitor your sleep and stuff?
I do. I use the Garmin. So
you like it?
I do. I'm not a huge data guy. Like I'm very aware that I don't want to become obsessed with it, but at the same time use it to benefit myself. So I look at sleep. I've been doing this for probably 3 years now, where I will look at my sleep, and if I meditate, if I do ice, if I eat clean, I sleep better. Deep sleep for me is always what I'm after. If I get about an hour and a half deep sleep, I'm good. If I get 2 hours, I'm a new man. If I get like 30 minutes, I'm beat up.
Oh.
Now the Garmin is like, their algorithm is going to be different than the Whoop. It's going to be different than the Oura Ring. Like I think the algorithms are different, so I don't think you can compare what the Garmin tells you to the Whoop. They're going to be different, but using it consistently and seeing the trends, I think that's where it's at.
Yeah, I can add it up.
So for me with the Garmin, if I get 2 hours of deep sleep, I feel like I wake up, I feel like I don't need coffee.
Fucking rock hard.
Feel great. Yeah. But if I get 15, 30 minutes, I'm worth this.
Fucked up.
And sweets is big for me, man. Like I eat pretty clean. You talked about it earlier. Like I'll go through, out of boredom, I'll eat like Honey Mamas. I don't remember if you introduced me to those or not, but they're
They're
probably the
brutal,
best.
right?
Like chocolate, and I'll eat 7 of them on a Sunday night.
Are you
Maybe not
serious?
7, but maybe 3.
Will you 3 full bars?
Yeah, I've done it.
Holy
And then I'm
fuck.
like, I wake up, and I always do this on Sunday. So today's Sunday, so I
Mm-hmm.
need to be mindful of my diet later. It's a boredom thing. It's a conditioning thing. Because I try to shut things down on Sunday night and just be ready for the week, and then I'm bored and I want to eat. But if I have too much sugar, I'm worthless for a day.
Fucks you up.
I'd sleep horrible. So imagine people that's their norm, right? They're drinking Cokes, they're eating McDonald's. I don't think people understand they have no perspective of what it feels like to feel good and to be healthy and be in shape. Like you have to go down that path to even have the perspective of what it feels like, and then you know how it feels the other side.
That's what I was telling Levi out, because he was talking about going back home and seeing his family and the way they eat and stuff. I was like, man, people don't understand. Well, even training for the Pan Ams, I'm like, I'm on a strict diet. I'm stretching. I'm making sure I'm hydrated. I'm eating really clean foods. I'm eating perfect. And I almost feel fucking superhuman.
Yeah.
I wake up and feel so good. But probably a majority of people have never had a diet for something, have never probably researched how to sleep, how to hydrate, stretch and stuff. So probably 99% of people don't even know how good you can really fucking feel.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's sad. I think that people don't have that understanding. Like that should be a huge piece of education. We should educate kids how to eat, the benefits of eating healthy, how to do it, at least provide that early on so that they can make a choice. Because I think, unfortunately, if you have parents, like everything else, like our conditioning, our environment is huge. If you grow up in an environment where it's not a priority, and unfortunately, a lot of times that is like people low income because it's cheaper. And now you can eat healthy without spending a ton of money too, but you have to know how to do that.
For sure.
Like I just think it's just empathy for a kid that has never been exposed, has no idea.
When did you start? Like, you're like, oh shit, organic foods is real. I'm going to start eating. Who kind of got you into that?
I was fortunate. My mom is a little bit of a health nut. Holistic, yeah.
That's
early on,
sweet.
before it was trendy. Like I remember I had allergy tested when I was a little kid. We didn't have bad food in the house.
That's
to
sweet.
a point where I didn't like it, right? I'd go to my friend's house and there'd be Doritos or like
Fruit snacks.
yeah, and I would just hammer it. But she definitely laid the groundwork for me later on in life, and understanding it and respecting it, and then going into kinesiology. And so I've always been that way. I've been very fortunate that I've always had that. So
because think of her genes got passed on to you, and you can see it just in your posture and how healthy you are. You can see that you've been eating healthy a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for that. She's a huge influence in that in my life. You know, here's an interesting point. So it's funny. My mom, she, with everything going on in COVID and immune system, she's like, you got to take silver. So you can supplement silver. So I trust my mom. I
Like colloidal silver.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I've been taking it. Knock on wood, I haven't been sick in 5 years, right? I'm gonna change the subject a little bit, but I'd like to know your opinion on this. So I take silver, and I was curious about. Okay, I trusted my mom. But I tried to Google benefit of it, and you can't like to navigate through that. You'd have to have a base to even get to the real stuff, because you're gonna find ads, you're gonna find clickbait. To me, it was an example of how hard it is to know what's bullshit and what's not now. I think that's one of the issues we have is like, where's the real information? So that example made me realize, like, man, I don't want to do, hours of research. I trust my mom.
Yeah.
But I think that's an issue we have culturally right now, is where do you go for the good information? Like you have to have a good enough bullshit detector to even know what's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So somebody goes on Google, I want to learn jiu-jitsu. They're gonna find the big, the big gyms. You're gonna find these companies that, because it's clickbaity, right? It's interesting that we have to deal with that now. Like,
Oh, for sure.
going back to you're a kid, where do you go to get the right information?
Oh, I know. And that's where I feel like our podcast has helped a lot of people.
Heck yeah.
Like, people I want to learn my information to. I know probably Dr. Andy Galpin's going to come out with good stuff. So I make sure to follow him on Twitter. Paul Chek has a lot of good stuff. Ben Greenfield has a lot of good stuff, but he also tries to sell a lot of stuff.
Right.
Like, your stuff I know is quality stuff. So I try to find that group of people. It's like, I know masters in all of these subjects that I respect. Let's see what they say. We're lucky to have podcasts like Joe Rogan and
Stick there.
Shit like that.
Yeah,
Fuck,
the people you
dude.
trust.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's that was kind of a tangent, but it just made me realize, like, that's an issue. It's like, how do you, where do you go?
Especially with Google and how they monitor everything.
Yeah.
They decide what's top of the list.
You can pay for it. People can pay for the top. It's search engine optimization, which I get, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So for you, because you've kind of lived on your own now for how long?
From my parents?
No, just from recently after your divorce or your split up.
Yeah. Probably about 2 years. Yeah.
Damn. So you went from being with a partner all the time, every night, to like, and probably with the partner talking about your future, then boom, things change. Learning to be by yourself and not constantly surf on the phone. Because I feel like when Mariah leaves for a night, I'm like, fuck, I'm surfing on the phone. I'm doing all this shit to like stimulate. But you're smart enough to know, obviously, that's not healthy. Like, how was that adjustment?
Yeah, well, first, that was I think the biggest growth I've ever made in my life has been the last couple of years. So in some ways, I'm proud of that, without it, scratching myself on the back, that I feel like I've become an even better person and will continue to pursue that. And that was a big, that door got opened, and it was difficult. It was hard, but at the same time, I wouldn't say forced me, because it didn't force me, but it provided the opportunity to reflect on who I was as a person. And I know now, moving forward, I'll be a better partner. I'm a better listener. And I'm very grateful for my ex-wife for that. Mm-hmm. And we're still close, and I'm, really, really proud of her in a lot of ways for her growth. But it was interesting. It was difficult, right? But again, it was a really cool, it provided the opportunity to grow. I'm very aware, going back to the surfing, how that creates negative energy, negative emotion in my life. Like, I have to put the phone away, because I'll realize that when I'm stuck on that thing, and just all of you go to Instagram and you get stuck. Next thing you know, you end up, you're looking at you're buying new shorts or something, right? Like, it's crazy.
Oh, dude.
It's crazy how it works. It's designed for that. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that comes from the phone and from social media. I just think you have to be aware of it and control it and create boundaries for yourself. Like, when I'm home, I will deliberately put the phone away in my bedroom, plug it in, and then it's like, I'm not using it. Like, I'm done. And I'll check my text messages at night, creating, boundaries with that, and with clients, with people, that, hey, like, you don't have to get back to people right now. Right? Like, that's like, there's a time and a place for that, right? But I think establishing some guidelines and some boundaries with that is huge. And it's still hard. I still catch myself,
especially our businesses. Like,
it's the podcast, messages on Instagram, but those become excuses as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just aware of it, man. Like, when I start getting pulled into that, I can feel it. Dude, like, I can feel the angst, So I just try to be better at. A lot of times I'll just breathe, man. I'll feel that, I'll put it away, and I'll lay down in the grass outside and breathe for 5 minutes. That provides perspective, and then I'm better. But I mean, what you feel the same way,
dude? I feel like I can notice that from obviously the meditation practice, but I'm like, man, I get on that phone, and then I put the phone down, and I'm like thinking, what's next? Thinking about things I could buy, thinking about, pick up that phone again. my mind's like fucking crazy. But as soon, because in Atlanta, Georgia, I was by myself and I was scrolling a lot. And just this last week, just putting down my phone and just not being around it, it feels so fucking good.
Yeah.
But then it's so easy to just get caught back up in it. Just
Well,
like,
think about jiu-jitsu purely from a standpoint of classes are 60 minutes, 90 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 60, 90 minutes you're not on your phone. Like the benefit of that, just right there.
Oh, for real.
With
dude.
everything else that you get from it, when you, like, when I work out, I deliberately don't have my phone, or it's off. Like I don't want vibrating. When I go on runs, right? There's a deliberate intent of, as my phone is vibrating next to me right now. Look at it.
Is that mine? Fuck.
Yeah. I just think we have to be really aware of it. It provides a lot of opportunity, and like you said, our businesses, but you've got to establish some boundaries. I worry about kids. That's again why this growth, higher human, if we connect with people and we can establish, if we can help people with these things, I think it's huge, because I can't imagine. I'm old enough. I didn't get a cell phone until college.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a little kid now, and you're always on it, and the pressure that comes with being accepted and being liked, like that's crazy to me.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like it's going to fuck a teenage girl, 13, 14, and she's seeing all these Instagram girls, and there's so many filters, and the girls are looking perfect. Like, how bad they beat themselves up mentally. I think it's going to fucking fuck some people up severely, especially with the porn, too. I can't imagine at 8, 9 years old when I was getting a boner, fucking being able to pick up a phone or grab my mom's iPad, cruise in the room and watch whatever the fuck I want. I can't even imagine. I don't know what I'd be like.
I hope there's education for it. There probably is, to be honest. There probably is teachers that specialize in that. If there isn't, there should be.
I wonder, like,
but
public schools.
Yeah, it's just your happiness is not dependent on how many likes you get on social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's not dependent on how much money you make, right? They're not connected, right? In roundabout ways, maybe, but you have to understand that, right? And that's scary for me, because I get pulled into it, and I'm 40 years old. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a kid. So,
dude. Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with it. But like I said, those public schools, they're going to be so old school that who knows if they add any help like that for kids.
Yeah, I hope so.
Snapchat and, oh my God.
A lot of schools, they teach now with iPads, so kids aren't even writing anymore. They just say iPad.
Really?
Yeah, you're staring at a screen. Yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, we're not gonna get away from it. It's gonna continue to be intertwined in our culture, but we need tools. We need avenues to get away from it, because it's super connected, right? We know the science, the addiction, the dopamine hit you get, and the way that these apps are designed to keep you there. They get it, right? How good does it feel to go into nature for a long weekend, to camp and be like, there's something there that
sure.
you feel.
Well, especially if you have the tools mentally to be able to be there, right, and enjoy it, for sure. But I want to even bring it up. We were talking about it in the past, but how cool it is that you and your ex-wife are able to still be friends, still love each other, still care for each other, and be friends, and decide to go separate ways. I feel like how rare that is. I feel like something happens in a relationship, whatever it is, and people just have to say, that's the end, that's a fail, I'm not talking to you, fuck you, bye, and that's the end. It has to be a fail, compared to, like, look at how much growth you've got out of it. You still have a great friend who you probably still love like a ton. She loves you. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I think that's something to look up to also.
Yeah, I mean, you don't own anybody, right? Like, that's a big thing. And people grow differently. And when you're younger, you want different things, or you think you do, and it's just something that happens. But just because I think you can love somebody and not be right to be married. Marriage is in itself is a very interesting thing, but it's, yeah, I think you can love somebody and it's just not from a partnership from that standpoint. It just might not be right.
And that's what I tell Mariah too. I said, I love you so much and we're such great partners and you're a great partner for me. But I'm like, one day in the future, if your path's going different than my path and we don't see eye to eye in the same things and I'm kind of going one way, you're going the other one way, like I'd have no problem saying, I love you. Let's stay in contact. Let's split up. It's not a failure. You've taught me so much fucking things. And it was such a success. We've had so many happy times, but I've just never understood why when people split up, it's looked at as such a failure and such a bad thing. And now those people can't talk. And it's just this, I'm like, it's so fucking stupid to me.
Yeah. It's, they're attached to the idea of what it represents. Right. And it's almost like if I can't have you, then I don't want anybody else to type thing, which is kind of silly to me, but yeah, people have to do work to get to that place, right? And that's, most people aren't going to do that work to get to a place where they can be okay with, if my partner chooses another path, it's not my fault, it's not their fault, it just is, that's the path they're going on, right? I mean, there's something that I saved, I'll read this because this is from the book Awareness. So you mentioned it earlier. I think that's a book that anybody that wants to grow should read. Right. It's that book has been one of the most influential books in my life. And that came from Sean.
Hell yeah.
Which is cool. Right. So I'll read this. Let me find it. All right. So let's see. I don't know if I want to read the whole thing. So I'll just go.
Yeah.
Think about that, because if you do, the next thing you'll be doing, whether you're aware of it or not, is demanding that other people contribute to your happiness. Then there will be a next step: fear of loss, fear of alienation, fear of rejection, mutual control. Perfect love casts out fear. I mean, I think that's perfect love casts out fear. Where there is love, there are no demands, no expectations, no dependency. I do not demand that you make me happy. My happiness does not lie in you. If you were to leave, I will not feel sorry for myself. I enjoy your company immensely, but I do not cling. That, right? I mean, that to me is
too good, dude.
It's so good. And this keeps going. I enjoy it on a non-clingy basis. What I really enjoy is not you. It's something that greater than both you and me. It is something that I discovered, a kind of symphony, a kind of orchestra that plays one melody when you're in your presence, but when you depart, the orchestra doesn't stop. When I meet someone else, it plays another melody, which is also very delightful. And when I'm alone, it continues to play. Their great repertoire never ceases to play. To me, that is so well said, and that's what I feel like in our relationship, that it was a beautiful thing. I'm very grateful for what we had and what it provided, but the orchestra, the symphony changed.
Yeah.
And we need different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not mad at her for that. She's not mad at me. So it feels cool to be able to accept that.
And I think that's, you truly love her. She truly loves you. You guys want to go separate paths? Fuck yeah, I love you. If you're going to be happier on that path, hell yeah, you should go do that path.
Yeah, it's hard to,
dude, that's
it's
hard
to
thing.
accept that, but that's, and again, for me now in relationships that I have a really cool perspective because of that I don't want, if I'm with somebody and they choose to go a different path, I'm not mad. I want them to be happy. Ideally, I want like a super deep connection that I have with somebody that I think is probably that I think that's what's really, really special in this world, in our life, is to have like that intimate, honest relationship with somebody. Mm-hmm. But with that also comes this,
programming. We've been programmed a long fucking time to react certain ways, and this person isn't with me. And I even think with someone like Sugar, okay, we're his coaches right now. if we love Sugar and in his mind, he found some other coaches and he truly in his mind thought it was going to be better for him. It's like, dude, I'm still going to be your friend forever. I fucking love you for sure.
Yeah,
100%. I'm on board. Whatever I got to do to help. And I think the same for fucking like relationships and that kind of stuff. But it's hard because we're so conditioned to when you have a partner, that partner should make you happy. That's your second half. You're 50, it's 50-50. And then that partner does something you don't like. So you're pissed off and it ruins your mood because they did something you don't like. It's like, it gets pretty fucking deep.
It's complicated. I try to say now, I catch myself not saying I try not to say you make me happy, and you say you add to my happiness. Like just because I believe what you say matters, and it's not you that's making me happy. It's how I'm interacting, what I'm choosing to do. But good people like you add to my happiness, right?
Hell yeah, that's really good.
Yep.
The camera died a minute ago, but you guys can keep going if you want.
Okay.
Because it's like an hour cap on that.
Okay. Are we still recording?
Yeah, you guys are still good.
What are we at for time?
1:16.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll finish up.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
It's a good. That's what I said. We're both saying that Way to Love, the Anthony DeMello, the Awareness by Anthony DeMello. It's fucking good books.
You just realize how conditioned we are to think a certain way because of society, and I don't think it is what it is. Like I think you accept it, but when you become aware of it, that's the first step. To me, that's the awareness is everything. It's meditation is awareness. By meditating, you become aware of your distractions. And you don't judge yourself for them. You're just aware of them. You see how distracted you are, and you come back. The breath becomes an anchor. You're aware of how you interact with your partner. Okay, I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not attaching myself to anything. I'm just aware of it, and you can work to change. It's kind of this. It's like this. There isn't an exact path, but to me, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, yeah. Like you're aware of your insecurity. You're aware of your fear of of failure or of not being good enough, and you accept it and you move forward. Jiu-jitsu training provides a platform to also deal with those things, right? You get pushed, you have negative emotion, you say, I'm not good enough, and you, instead of getting mad, you see it, you're aware of it, you come back, you get better, right? I think that, to me, is huge.
Hell yeah. And
having things in your life that you get to push yourself with, so you appreciate the other side. I think awareness is huge. It's all awareness. But,
oh, dude, fuck yeah, for sure. Jay, for the close up, should we just record it on an iPhone so he can close out and he can just add that file to the end of the video?
Oh, like a video?
Yeah, just so he can close it out for his YouTube, so it doesn't just shut off.
Yeah, because I was just gonna fade it and put your logo over it as you
perfect.
Talking.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then that'll work. No, that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Sweet.
So we'll still have some of the video.
Yeah,
or no?
We'll have the whole thing up until like 2, like right now, because it dies like at 1 hour.
Got
so
you.
Probably like 10 minutes of you guys.
Yeah.
Get the logo up,
Logo and then still the audio. Fuck yeah, sweet.
Do you care if we answer a couple questions and then we'll
let's do it?
Finish it out. So I'll just kind of. Yeah, so I did get questions. I asked people on Instagram. I get some good ones. People that wanted me to ask you certain things, so I'm gonna go to that right now. We'll get a couple in, but I appreciate your time, man.
Dude, fuck yeah, it's fun. We could chat like this all the time. These conversations could go for hours.
Right. Let's see here. So we kind of talked about this, right? Biggest takeaways from your time healing with the broken jaw. Mm-hmm. But you feel like that was a big moment for you to choose to grow. You could have had a pity party, but you made a conscious effort to grow through that experience.
Yeah, and I don't know where that came from, but I also think like that amount of suffering and just like my jaw was wired so tight that I felt like my teeth were gonna explode out of my face, and I couldn't try to talk because this thing called TMJ in your ear, it would just shoot this headache. So I pretty much had to sit there in silence for 8 weeks and it just put liquid through my teeth. And that, I think that amount of like a pussy amount of suffering compared to what some people go through. But that amount of suffering, it made me come out of it and being like, damn, life is fucking good.
Yeah.
I can talk, I can eat, I don't have headaches. Like, fuck yeah, I'm feeling good.
A different perspective, man,
Yeah.
which is cool. Rather than feeling sorry, you allowed it to give you good perspective.
Hell yeah.
This is another kind of interesting question, but I've seen firsthand, you know, you working with Sean and how you guys interact. There's some really cool, there's really cool energy. There's really cool connection there. But this person is asking the striking drills and combos you come up with when you're holding mitts for Sugar. How do you, is that something that there is specific strategy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, like, walk me through that with you guys?
With him, I've been around him for so many fights, so I kind of see a lot of the tendencies on what way he spins, or when he's circling this way, what leg he throws. But a lot of it, like, we have probably a list of probably 10 like specialty moves we call out, but a lot of it is like, he's such a good athlete. His eyes are so good. Let's just rep a lot of the basic movements, a lot of the basic strikes, basic super combos, and then let him go do his thing. Just go let him go. Have a really good base, solid base in all of it. Simple stuff, and go let him do his thing. His timing's so good. He's a good fucking athlete. Just go let him do his thing.
Yeah, that's smart, man. I think on my side, the strength and conditioning side, I'd say the same thing. A lot of times people overcomplicate it, and getting really good at the basic stuff matters when you're an elite athlete, right? It's like if somebody is a white belt in the gym, just get them better, right? Get them moving better. Their hinge, their squat, there's simple things to get better at, and a lot of elite athletes suck in the gym. So it's not a matter of like getting crazy and doing the crazy, you know, whatever complex. Yeah. It's just the basics first.
Dude, and I swear to God, as much as I see, at the highest level of anything, it comes down to those fundamental basics. How much did you do those? Because if you don't know your fundamental basics at higher belts or higher whatever you're doing, it's going to get exposed.
Heck yeah. This is a simple question, but best way to improve your BJJ?
Fuck, dude.
It's go to practice. Be consistent.
It is but it's not just go to practice. It's you got to go to practice, and as soon as you bow in, as soon as you practice, use that bow in to say, okay, I'm here now. I'm gonna focus on jiu-jitsu. I'm not gonna focus on making my coach, looking over if my coach is watching, if I'm doing something. I'm gonna try to do all the drills, and I'm gonna try to understand why I'm doing the drills, and that'll help, I think.
Yeah. Last one. Here's another JITS question, but best advice for an 18-year-old who loves BJJ and wants to make a career out of it?
Dude, I think that's such a good idea. I think more people need to look at jiu-jitsu like they look at going to college and becoming I truly feel like, okay, now I own my own gym. I earned my black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I have my own gym because of it, and I feel like it's the best fucking job in the world. I truly wouldn't trade this job for any other job that I see. And I think being 18 years old, committing to jiu-jitsu and wanting to make it your life is such a good thing. It may take you 10 years. It may take you 8 years or 7 years, but just going in full deep force and say, I'm going to commit to this, and I'm going to commit to this over a long period of time, the money will come back, and then you'll be able to start teaching people, becoming a master, and it's fucking the shit. And I would recommend it.
Yeah, who knows where that can take you and will take you, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
Well, heck yeah, man.
Dude,
I appreciate it.
That was badass.
You know, thank you. Appreciate you and what you guys do and have done. And like I said, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for you. So it's fun to have these conversations. And I feel like, man, this could go so many different directions. So I appreciate you, brother.
Dude, fuck yeah. Peace.
Peace.